I'm opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous of light of the One. I'm opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous of light of the One. I'm opening, I'm opening, I'm opening, I'm opening, I'm opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous of light of the One. I'm opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous of light of the One. I'm opening, I'm opening, I'm opening, I'm opening, I'm opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous of light of the One. I'm opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous of light of the One. I'm opening, I'm opening, I'm opening, I'm opening.
Thank you, Robin, Phil, Judy. Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
I'm Chuck Fulner. I serve on the board of directors here at Unity of Louisville, and it is my honor to welcome all of you to this morning's celebration of Spirit. That welcome includes everyone who's here in the sanctuary, those who are watching downstairs in the gathering area, and everyone who'll be watching online through the magic of the internet or listening to our podcast, which will be posted on Tuesday. And that includes you, Carlinac. We still love you. Just know that. Okay. At Unity, we begin everything in prayer. So let's do that. If you would please sit back, relax, and take a deep, cleansing breath and put everything out of your mind. And please listen with your heart as I remind you of some things that you already know. The universal divine mind of God is calling. It wishes to sing its song of life and love through every fiber of your very being. You live in divine flow. You are in tune with substance, prosperity, health, peace, and love. You walk and you work in the very infinite process that turns everything, absolutely everything in your life towards good. For these eternal truths, and for the joy of being together to celebrate on a beautiful Sunday morning in Kentuckiana, let us express our gratitude by saying, thank you, God.
Thank you, God.
One more time.
Thank you, God.
And in the manner of Rev Ray Nelson, let's say, thank you, God, with zeal and enthusiasm.
Thank you, God.
Very good. That was pretty darn good, wasn't it? Give yourself a hand for doing that so well. A lot of people contribute to these Sunday morning gatherings. I'd like to recognize a few of them because September is an odd-numbered month. The odd-number month team of ushers and greeters met you at the door today. Susan is on the soundboard back there. James is on the PowerPoint. Thank you, James, very much. I appreciate that. Deloris Morton, who is also serving on our name tag greeting team, will be doing the reading of the daily word. And Jimmy Wheeler, another one of our board members, is doing today's meditation. I'm certain it will help all of us go deep within. We have an all-star musical cast. Judy Paulsmeyer is on the piano. Thank you, Judy. And Robin and Phil will be doing our song leading. And the musical group July, who's been here before but never in the month of July, will be doing our special music today. Thank you very much. I think the next thing I'm supposed to do is turn to you and say, Phil, what's up?
And I say, please stand and join us for our opening song, There Is a Song. There is a song that my heart always sings. You are the melody. You are the melody. My God. There is a song that my heart always sings. You are the melody. You are the melody. The harmony. The music of my heart. There is a song that my soul always sings. You are the melody. You are the melody. My God. There is a song that my soul always sings. You are the melody. You are the melody. The harmony. The music of my soul. Amen. 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 There is a song that humanity sings. You are the melody. You are the melody. Oh God. There is a song that humanity sings. You are the melody. You are the melody. The harmony. The music of a song. You are the melody, the harmony, the symphony of all. Amen.
Not by design, but by omission, I failed to mention that today's talk, Light That Shines in Darkness, based on the writings of Myrtle Fillmore, will be delivered today by our very own senior minister, Rev Ray Nelson. And it's part of a series that we're doing to recognize the writings of fearless leaders of the unity movement over the last century and a half, or something like that. The most important words that we say from this platform every Sunday are whoever you are, and wherever you are on your spiritual journey, you are welcome here. One of the ways we implement that thought is to recognize our first-time visitors. So if you're a first-time visitor who's joining us today for the very first time, if you would please raise your right hand as I am raising mine. We have two in the middle, one on the side. If you leave your arms up, our ushers will bring you a candle and some information about the unity movement in general and the unity of Louisville in particular. There's an information sheet. If you'll fill that out and turn it into the welcome desk downstairs, we'll put you on our mailing list. We won't pursue you, but we'll send you stuff either by snail mail or email to keep you up to date about what's going on here. The candle is to remind you of a central truth, that the light of Christ lives inside each and every one of us, and we recognize that light when we first meet you. So let's greet our first-time visitors. And now, for the fastest 2 minutes in sports, it's time to greet each other. We are, by nature and custom, a hugging community, but not everybody likes to hug. So if you don't want to be hugged, put out a hand to shake or a fist to bump, and please reciprocate in kind. If not, let's hug the hell out of each other.
There's a song that humanity sings. You are the melody. You are the melody. Oh God. There is a song that humanity sings. You are the melody. You are the melody. The harmony. The music of a song. You are the melody, the harmony, the symphony of all. Amen. Amen. Amen.
Wasn't that fun? In Unity, we believe in the power of affirmative prayer. So we frequently affirm those things that we want to appear in our lives, and we do that every Sunday. Today we have two. So if you will join with me in affirming the value of inclusion and families by saying with me, all families are valued and welcome here. Let's do that again. All families are valued and welcome here. Thank you. James, the second one is? Thank you. And let's do this with great zeal and enthusiasm, the generosity affirmation. Let's begin. I am an exuberant, joyful expression of spirit, participating fully in the principle of generosity. Now we are about to begin the more meditative portion of today's service with the singing of the Our Father by Robin. After that, there will be a moment of silence during which our oneness blessers and prayer chaplains will bless the congregation. Thank you.
O heavenly Spirit, who in love abideth, we worship thee, we praise thy holy name. Teach us thy children evermore to love thee. Thy will be done in earth as in today. Teach us thy children evermore to love thee. Thy will be done in earth as in today. Oh, give us grace to meet the coming morrow. Forgive our debts as others we forgive. Thou leavest not thy children in temptation, and from all error thou deliverest us. Thine is the kingdom, thine the power and glory, world without end, forevermore. Amen.
And so it is. A reading from the Daily Word on Sunday, September the 1st. The message is Abundant Living. I live joyously and abundantly. Living abundantly means living in gratitude without fear or limitation. It is living with an awareness of my divine nature as an expression of light, life, love, and peace. In a spirit of gratitude, I notice the blessings that flow into my life every day. I give thanks for each one, large and small, knowing I have all that I need. With God as my source, I have unlimited resources that I can summon from within at any time. I see beyond any negative appearance to the truth of my being. I am whole, complete, and able. My relationships are harmonious. My life is in order. I have enough to use and to share. For these truths, I breathe a prayer of thanks. Abundance is all around me. And from Luke, the good person out of the good treasure of the heart produces only good. And this is the word of Sunday.
When I pray, I feel my heart go deeper, my heart go deeper into my God. When I pray, I feel my heart go deeper, my heart go deeper into my God. Right here, right now, right where I am, I pray. Right here, right now, right where I am, I pray. When I pray, I feel my soul go deeper, my soul go deeper into my God. When I pray, I feel my soul go deeper, my soul go deeper into my God. Right here, right now, right where I am, I pray. Right here, right now, right where I am, I pray. When I pray, I feel my love go deeper, my love go deeper into my God.
Good morning. Let's just take a breath, breathe in, letting go all that doesn't serve us. We're here in this love, sea of love, knowing that all is well, knowing that all of us are divine image and expression of God, of love, of spirit. So if we can close our eyes, if you like, hands, palms lifted, and just say to yourself, and I'll say it a few times, and then let it just resonate, let it just embody you. God is, I am. God is, I am. God is, I am. God is, I am. as we slowly bring ourselves back into the awareness of the sanctuary, opening our eyes when we choose, always knowing that right where we are, God is. God is. God is. And so it is. Peace and blessings.
Good morning.
So going with that beautiful energy that Jim created, I invite you to sing along with us on this song. And I think you've probably heard it before. It's such a beautiful song, and this is such a beautiful sacred space. And so I invite you to ohm into it with us as we sing. And if you'd also like to ohm on the choruses, we'll be singing something different, but I think that would just be beautiful. So on this D note, you are welcome to do that if you feel so moved.
This is the note. So feel free to join us.
I am light,
Oh, light.
Thank you. That was lovely. So, as Chuck said, we're going to start a new series on the legends of unity. And this is more of the writers, the philosophical, the theological thinkers that created the underpinnings and the foundations for who we are today. We're just focusing on New Thought unity people rather than divine science, religious science. So it's since we're unity, we're going to talk about unity people. So these were brilliant thinkers. And in unity, they were trying to understand and relate to God and spirit in a different way, through the lens of Christianity, but in a different way, holding fast to the religious traditions, but trying to understand it in a new way. So really holding on to the roots that they came from, but lifting it up into a new way of seeing it. And these were evolutionary thinkers, is that Christianity never should have gotten stuck in rigidity and orthodoxy. It was always meant to be an evolutionary thing. So, and we're going to start with Myrtle Fillmore. And she's known as the mother of unity. If Charles was the head, Myrtle was the heart. And I think for much of my classmates and much of unity, though we read the teachings of Charles, we follow the heart of Myrtle. And we're not going to do this as a history lesson, but just a little bit about Myrtle. She was born like 20 years before the Civil War. So in the middle of Ohio, pre-Civil War days, her parents were, and all the people surrounded her, were extreme fundamentalists. Power of a condemning God, a judgmental God, a God and a life that believed in sickness and illness and that things happened. And the easiest thing is, and this is the only part of the history we're going to do, is she never bought into that. That never jived with her from the earliest days. She could not accept that family teachings. So her and Charles were spiritual seekers, and the beginning of the movement was when they went to hear a speaker called E.B. Weeks, and I said this a couple weeks ago, when she heard the words, "You are a child of God and you do not inherit illness." Do you ever have one of those moments where it seems like it's a throwaway line from somebody else and it literally transforms and changes your entire perspective and outlook? That's what happened to Myrtle. She took that into prayer, healed herself of tuberculosis, went on to live another 50 years. And after that, that's when Charles said, because he was a head guy, said, oh, maybe there's something there, and started exploring it more from the intellectual side. So now we're just really going to focus on, and we could do this for weeks, if not months. So just get the idea. I'm only going to just touch a little bit on Myrtle and some of her teachings. She writes, and she didn't write books. She did write articles. The only book she wrote was a book called We Wisdom. We Wisdom was a book for children. Unity was the first, Unity Village had the first Montessori school in the United States. She wanted to teach children to embrace the truth of them at an early age, rather than having to go through what people like me, I have to get to 40s and 50s before I have anybody kind of trying to wake me up. She wanted the children to embrace, so her only book was We Wisdom. But they did bring a lot of her writings together and make them into books. So she writes in how to let God help you. The real purpose of your life is to express the creation of God in you. The real purpose of life is to express the creation of God in you. To have your soul wake up. To have your soul wake up into the deeper truth, knowing that you are a divine child of God, heir to the kingdom of heaven, filled with abundance, prosperity, health, relationships. At the beginning of that book, she wrote her faith. I do not believe in evil. I believe in good. I do not believe in sin. I believe in truth. I do not believe in want. I believe in abundance. I do not believe in death. I believe in life. I do not believe in ignorance. I believe in intelligence. I do not believe in discord. In my being is peace itself. My faith, understanding, and love are becoming one. What therefore God hath joined together, let man not put asunder. She lays out a clear idea that she doesn't believe in the dualistic thinking of the world. She believed in a greater thought. She was an absolutist. She was about as orthodox unity as you can get. They were hardcore. I would have probably found it very difficult to be in their presence because there was not a lot of room in my mind as I was studying her, room for that human experience. But that wasn't the truth. She understood everyone was where they were at and met them with that compassionate, understanding heart. She wrote, sometimes we pray to a God outside ourselves, yet it is in the God in our midst that frees and heals us. There are times, as we follow her teaching, there are times when we look outside ourselves because that's the God of our understanding in the moment. That moment where a friend, one of my teachers flew a helicopter. He's a brilliant unity teacher. Flew a Metacopter in Vietnam and was shot down. And he said as he was crashing his helicopter, and I believed him, he prayed to Jesus, to Buddha, to Krishna. You know, he was going through his mind because he was a scholar trying to find all the outside gods that could help him because he was afraid he was going to die. And then later, he settled himself. He calmed himself when he was out of the jungle and protected. Calmed himself and remembered the truth that he was always protected, that he was always safe, that he was always surrounded with that infinite love. She acknowledged that in life we have circumstances and conditions, but she says, be not concerned with appearances. These things are not real and they will pass. We have to remember that a light shines in the darkness. And in the very midst of our darkness, our minds open to the light. And in Ephesians it says, and anything that is exposed to light will become the light. So in the midst of our darkness, when we have those moments where we forget, when we remember and let it pass and let it go, that light shines on us and that light transforms us and we become that light. Sometimes that may be a call to one of our ministers. It might be a call to a prayer chaplain. It may just be sitting in a room and having one of the energy workers or one of the prayers or one of our oneness blessers just touch your head, and in that touch, you remember. You remember your connection to all that is. Whatever that is, you can use it. She says, don't focus on the perceived as wrong, but put your attention on God, which is the light in the darkness. We come to a place where we are no longer, everybody on this spiritual journey will come to a place where we are no longer satisfied living the old life. In the world we live in, there is pain. There is suffering. There are disconnections and things going on. And yet, being that eternal optimist I am, I see that as the catalyst to drive us to something different. In recovery, we say, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. That I'm willing to go to any length to have something be different. And that something different is God, for God's sake. There will be those times that drain. We'll get cranky. We'll have that feeling of divine discontent. And we may already know the truth of our being, and we forget, and we get cranky. And we use that crankiness to tell us, something's amiss here. This is not who I am. And drives us back to that truth. This is the time to start paying attention. I found this one interesting, so I'm going to kind of do little vignettes of Myrtle. We recognize the fact that most of who we are, most of how we behave, most of what we believe, and much of what we think about the world comes from the families we grew up in. Science tells us that most of who we are is developed long before we're 7 years old. It's set in a pattern by our family systems. Myrtle says, how about if we start remembering that we're a child of God and God is our family? That Christ within us is the family that we grow up on, not the physical mom and dad. How about if we start remembering who our true father, who our true mother is? That we are made in the image and likeness. That's easy for me to say. We're made in the image. I get excited sometimes. You ever get that? So we're made in the image and likeness of God. And we forgot that. And we focus on our littleness. And we focus on that discontent. How might we act if we remember our true family is we're a family of God, and that we're all connected and that we're all one? How might we react? How might we think when I go over on the west side on Friday nights, and instead of seeing from my white Midwestern small town lens of pretty dramatic, I just see other people hurting and asking for help and wanting to be lifted up and wanting to see that pull, that we're all part of that. You can't enter the kingdom of heaven burdened down by false notions and prejudices. Jesus said, again, I tell you, it's easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for a rich person to enter the kingdom of heaven. And when I say rich person, I'm not talking about the guy with money. You can have all the money you want. There's people with money who are very generous in giving people. There's people who are poor, who are stingy. It's not that. Not rich in wealth, rich in ideas. Rich in false ideas, false beliefs, negative thinking, burdened by the race consciousness, and fueled by the idea of separation. That we see others and treat others as less than. Myrtle never saw that. What Myrtle saw was a divine child of God, hurting and in need of prayer. And so she would pray with them. And she would pray with them each time knowing that prayer was the truth. And if they came back with the same problem, it wasn't the same problem, it was a different problem manifesting in the same way. And she would pray with them again until they would get it. She finally says there's two sources of where we receive our wisdom. The universal mind, which is God, and the activity of the intellectual mind, which is the beginning of dualism. Sometimes that can be good, but sometimes that information is not so good. When that information tells me I'm sick, I'm poor, I can't have a good relationship, people don't like me, I'm not enough, I can't do it. That's all information coming from my ego and that separation consciousness. She says, let that go. That's the thinking of a child. And as Paul wrote, when I was a child, I spoke as a child, I understood as a child, I thought as a child, but when I became a man, I put away childish things. It's time to put away our childish thinking, to turn our attention away from the circumstances and the conditions and place it instead to the source of all our answers. To turn away from our problems and turn once again in what is God guiding us to. What is that consciousness of the Christ, that indwelling piece of us that is holy? What is that guiding us to? Where we put our attention is what we're going to create. I create a world of peace. I create a world of love. I create a world of harmony. I create a world of health. I say that in the face of circumstances that tell me that that's anything but true. And I continue to affirm it, because when I wake up in the morning, I wake up with a joyful heart, with an expectation to meet my day about how can I make a difference to make that affirmation true. How can I wake up in the morning saying, how can I make a difference to make others understand that where they are is fine and they are loved unconditionally? I wake up in the morning saying, how can I, rather than, oh, woe is me, turn on Fox News, turn on MSNBC, and find out what the latest drama of the day is. You know what? There's going to be a drama today, I'll guarantee it. There's a drama every day. If they had newspapers 5,000 years ago, there would have been a drama that day. You know, we don't have to focus our attention. You know it is. So we stay focused on what's mine to do today and how can I make manifest. I could go on. I'm not gonna. The spiritual nature of humanity is our makeup and our character. It's who we are. Who we are was true before time even began. Who we are will be true after time ceases to exist. See, and God's calling us already. So, put him on hold. Yeah. Ever had that experience? You put God on hold. Come on. Because the truth of who we are is the truth. We think otherwise because we step out of the truth and we live in that dualism of separation. And this is not a call not to take action, but it is a call to take action from a different mindset. Not from what's wrong with the world, but how we want to make the world right. There's a difference. It's a subtle difference. Myrtle, if you get a chance, read some of her writings. There's a lot of stuff in the archives at Unity Village. If you ever get down there, go in the archives and pull up some of this stuff. But as the heart of unity, I think she is the heart that I want to follow. I love you. I bless you. I behold the living presence of God in you, seeing each of you healthy, whole, well, perfect, and complete, right as you are. Namaste.
sometimes it's hard to look in the mirror and see that child of God that you're talking about. And I know yesterday I was definitely having that problem. And this song that we're going to play, which is called Glow, describes that back and forth sometimes between your duality, or what you perceive as duality, and your truth, your divine truth. Rumi says, your task is not to seek for love, but merely to seek and find all the barriers within yourself that you have built against it. And I think when you can get past that, you start to glow. You start to become light.
Like water in my head today, never the same place twice. I'm changing with the time of day, on this spinning path toward the sun, away from the sun, towards the sun, away from the sun, towards the sun, away from the sun. The sun, away from the sun. Where the light goes when it hits the plane, it might catch your eye, or it might pass you by, or just slip below to a place where we don't go. I don't see. For the sun, away from the sun, toward the sun, away from the sun, toward the sun, away from the sun. Ooh, toward the sun, away from the sun, toward the sun, away from the sun. Things change, they grow, or fall away like winter clothes, rearrange and flow. We'll shed our layers till we glow. Glow. It's like a plant grows, cell by cell, very slowly. You can barely tell, but by thinking back about grappling slow, oh so slowly, very slowly we grow. Toward the sun, away
As our ushers come forward now, it's time to do our offering. And we take our love offerings in our hand, knowing we practice that divine law of giving and receiving. So we will say our offertory blessing together. Together. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. So let's just take a moment and let's just hold these gifts in that light. As we know, as the light comes in, things become the light. And it goes forth to fulfill our mission, which is to transform the world. Thank you, God. So it is. And we'll say our prosperity affirmation together. We are stewards of divine abundance. We give and receive with gratitude. Just a couple of really brief announcements. First off, coming up on Wednesday, we are restarting our Wednesday evening kaleidoscope. We start with prayer at 5, dinner, a community meal at 5:30, and then we will have an activity up in the sanctuary or the activity center when we're doing spiritual dance. This Wednesday will be a healing circle. So come and give and receive healing. Also on the 12th, we have World Day of Prayer. Our prayer room, our chapel downstairs will be open all day for individual prayer, light a candle in remembrance of somebody. Also, we will have a ceremony up here at 6:30, which will be a collaborative ceremony with Unity of East Louisville as we continue to build and strengthen our ties. We are featuring that day Paradiso and Rasamaye. They've been here before. Didgeridoo and singing bowls, alchemy bowls. And then two more things really quick, and then we'll get the kids up here and get you out of here. Also on World Day of Prayer is also Give a Day. We will bring more information next week with little individual cards to show you how to do it. It is a way for us to expand our gifts. There are multipliers, there are categories you can go in that also bring you into pools of greater money. And Valerie and I set the intention of raising $100,000 that day. So that's a big gulp. So, okay. And then finally, next weekend, we have Greg Coles will be here. Saturday, Growing with Change workshop, which will be a 9 to 4. Lunch will be provided, or it's mostly a potluck. But we'll eat lunch together. And then Sunday, we will do a ceremony of release. I'll cook in the garden beforehand, so you don't have to worry about getting lunch. I'm going to grill in the garden, and so we'll have some lunch together, and then we'll do a ceremony of release. So that's it. Take your bulletin home and look at all the things coming up, and let's go ahead and bring our kids up.
Light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine.
Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Where I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, gonna let it shine all through the night. I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
One last thing before Dottie talks that I forgot to say because I didn't write it down. Today is the last day to purchase artwork from Jerry. You can purchase it today and pick it up next Sunday. So next Sunday, all the artwork will be down. So, all right? Good.
Hi, we've been talking about compassion today. And we talked about the old turtle and how people used to argue, and then the turtle told them that they were arguing about where God is. Can you imagine that? And so the old turtle told them the truth, and then the mountains and the winds and everybody believed it, and the people started getting along again. Oh, wonderful, yay! So our affirmation today is going to be, here she is. Come here. Say the affirmation. Going to be led by Genevieve. Okay, anybody want to help her? When I share God's love, I take care of my world.
I take care of my world.
So let's all say that together. When I
share
God's
love,
I take care of my world. And then the older children have one too.
Today, the bigger kids, we talked about how we can show compassion with our words. And I'll let these guys say our affirmation.
when I share God's love, I help others.
All right. All right, so let's do our prayer for protection. Got anything else?
Are they going to say it with us?
Oh, you want to say it with us? Okay, yes.
Dear God's love, I help others. Okay. When I share God's love, I help others.
Thank you. All right. So our prayer for protection. Together. The light of God surrounds us.
The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as Creator, united all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Now there is peace on earth, and it has begun with me. Namaste, y'all.